Can you talk a little bit about the relationship between bottoms and tops when it comes to like shibari and working with somebody and like tying somebody up?
Yeah, of course. It depends. It really does depend. For example, it really depends on kind of the relationship you have going into it. For example, like if you're friends, you already kind of have a closeness or a basis of trust, or they kind of maybe understand what it is that you do, or maybe your style just by being around you, like seeing things or supporting you or talking to you, right?
Mhm.
If it's someone coming in that's like completely external, trying for a new time, the relationship is more, I think, at the beginning, information based, like educational. It's really important to be like, okay, plan everything out. This is what we're going to do. And it's a lot of back and forth of like, how are you feeling? What is something that you want to try to feel? What is a shape that you maybe want to try to achieve? Is there something specific that you want to explore? It's a lot of like question asking, and then kind of like a dance, like depending on the response, you offer this on the table, depending on that. Versus when I've tied with friends, they kind of just trust me. We do like a basic thing aside from the like consent negotiation, but depending on like what we're actually going to create,
Mhm.
it's basically kind of way more simplified. And like, yeah, I just want you to like be creative or go with the flow, or like I trust you with like you have like creative for your creative expression, like just go for it. And then there's kind of the more intimate part, like say you have like a partner that you're seeing, or maybe like romantically or sexually, and that's a whole different thing, because I've had like two different kind of instances where one was super supportive and we did it all the time together, and like equally like we really loved like participating in this, and it just became kind of like I have this idea and it's like, okay, let's do it. And we already knew each other's like limits, we already have like talked about that type of consent thing, and we would just do like a quick check-in, like, okay, do you have anything that changes? How are you feeling? Do you have any limitations in your body today? And all the other like hardcore things or deeper questions we already kind of like filled out together before, in terms of what we knew about each other. And so that's really cool, because it's just a lot of exploration, and it's a lot of trust, and it's a lot of intimacy. And that's when I feel like I can really flow and like push my own limits and my creativity and push their limits, because I know them so well. And on the other hand, I had a partner that wasn't so supportive of it. And like sometimes we would do it together because they knew it was important to me, but it wasn't really a complete desire on their part. And so
Mhm.
it kind of makes me scale back a little and like do things like very minimally, and like, okay, like, how are you doing? Checking in. And that can be kind of complex, because you have this intimate relationship, but then you feel like it can't like blossom in this space. And so,
Mhm.
like, mentally, there's like a little bit of a blockage there. And so that's super interesting. And then I have bottoms that I tie with frequently. There's a girl who's my friend. Her name's Yoko. And if you probably see her a lot on her profile, because she really likes being tied. And I really like being tying. And we like have a really good energy together. And we kind of just like bounce ideas off of each other. And she's
Cool.
just like really cool. Like, we're friends in real life. And so, it's interesting because we're friends, and then we've tied together a lot. And so we kind of, it's in between like that new person and that friend person and like an intimate partner. It's kind of like closer to an intimate partner, but it's not like sexual.
Mhm.
So it's basically depending on like their experience and their experience with you, because you can have someone that has tons of experience bottoming, but every person who ties has a completely different style in terms of how they touch you, how they talk to you, how you guys will communicate, what they like to do. Like I really like inversions and like face stuff and gags and like just like toes and fingers and like weird things. And some people really like, just like straight up making shapes and making beautiful art and how having everything symmetrical.
Mhm.
And so you really have to kind of test and like see who you click with and see what style is yours. And I've personally bottomed for a few people, and there's some people in my experience as being tied where I feel like the session was really good and I experienced a lot of emotion, but maybe the rigor, the person tying wasn't as experienced as others. And so like it wasn't like beautiful to me, but like I felt like the ropes, and I had like my own personal experience that I really enjoyed. And then I've chatted with other people who are super skilled, and I just like didn't feel any connection, and just kind of felt like they were just like drawing on me and like doing patterns, and it wasn't the type of like rope work and shibari that like I personally connect a lot with. And so what I tell people is that the hard limits, or not the hard limits, sorry, like the hard skills that you have, which is basically like, can you see if you did it well or not? Like, is it good or is it bad? Did it do its function? Yes or no? Is it safe? Yes or no? Like things that are measurable, like those are called hard skills. And then
Mhm.
things that aren't measurable and like aren't like tangible to like say if you did it well or not. Things like empathy, communication, how you create the ambiance and the energy and how you make people feel. Those are like the soft skills. And so
Mhm.
you kind of have to see what balance works for you the best. Like I personally enjoy tying with people who have better soft skills or focus more on their soft skills versus like just doing patterns because I'm a human and I want to be cared about. But everybody's different. Some people just want to have someone really awesome tie them in this crazy looking thing and take a picture and like that's what they like, you know? And
Mhm.
so, like, your relationship with bottoms, it's kind of complex. Like, everyone is so individual based off of like likes and needs. But, like, a tip is like, if you're going to tie, try to find some people who are interested and that you click with and try to do it frequently because that's when, like, you can really get like the juices flowing and really explore these things versus trying to like stay within their structured, like, limits and all these things that you guys have consented to together. So, it's
Mhm.
just, it's variable. Like how every portrait is different for you, like every
Yeah.
bottom is different for me.